$100,412. You're 28. Most people you know won't see this number attached to their own name for another decade, if they ever do. You didn't inherit it. Nobody died. There's no trust fund, no lucky trade, no crypto story you tell at parties. Here's what actually happened. At 22, you start as a dental hygienist. $52,000 a year, $14,000 left on student loans, and a twin mattress from your childhood bedroom that you've now moved into 3 different apartments because buying a real one felt like a waste of money you didn't have yet. You knock out the loan in 11 months, living tighter than you needed to, mostly out of a specific fear of debt you picked up from watching your parents carry a car payment for 9 years on a car that only lasted 6. Your dad still brings up that car sometimes, at holidays, like it's a joke. It stopped being a joke to you somewhere around age 15. At 23, loan gone, you open a retirement account the same week and set $300 a month to leave automatically. You don't feel anything doing it. It's just a number in a settings menu you close and forget about. At 24, a promotion bumps you to $61,000. You raise the contribution to $450 without really discussing it with yourself first. It just seemed like the obvious next step, the same way brushing your teeth after breakfast is obvious. At 25, the total is $22,000. You still split a 2-bedroom with a roommate from your hygienist program, even though you could technically afford your own place now. People assume the roommate situation means you're broke. You let them assume it. At 26, another raise, $68,000. Contribution up to $550. Your roommate moves out to live with a boyfriend, and you could finally get your own place. You don't. You find a new roommate on the same group chat you found the last one, because the math on staying doubled up is too good to walk away from for the sake of having your own bathroom. At 27, the total is $58,000. You start dating someone who assumes, correctly, that a 27-year-old hygienist splitting rent with a stranger from a Facebook group is not exactly rolling in money. You don't correct the assumption for months. It's not embarrassment, exactly. It's just that the number has never once come up in a way that felt natural to mention. That same year, the market drops for 8 straight weeks, and the $58,000 dips under $50,000 for a stretch that feels much longer than 8 weeks while you're living through it. A coworker who dabbles in individual stocks tells you, unprompted, that index funds are for people who don't know what they're doing. You nod, say nothing, and don't change a single thing about the automatic transfer. At 28, it crosses $100,000. You're standing in the break room microwaving lunch when the notification lands. Nobody in the room knows what just happened. You eat your lunch and go back to a patient's cleaning 20 minutes later. Here's the breakdown, since the number itself hides more than it shows. $71,000 in retirement accounts, $19,000 in a taxable brokerage, $10,000 in actual cash sitting in savings. About $29,000 of it you could touch today if you needed to. The rest is doing its job somewhere you can't reach for another 30-some years. Here's the part that makes doing this before 30 specifically worth an entire video instead of just a milestone. $100,000, left completely untouched, growing at a plain 7% average, becomes a wildly different number depending on how many years it gets to sit there before you retire. Reach it at 40, and by 65, it's roughly $543,000. Reach it at 35, and it's roughly $761,000. Reach it at 28, like you did, and it's roughly $1,222,000. Same $100,000. Same 7%. The only variable that changed across all 4 versions is how many years the money got left alone. And that one variable is worth almost $700,000 of difference between the earliest starter and the latest. Nobody's paycheck determines that gap. Nobody's talent determines it either. 2 people can reach the exact same $100,000 through completely different careers, completely different salaries, completely different levels of financial cleverness. And the person who got there younger still ends up with hundreds of thousands more, purely because the calendar gave their money a longer runway. It's the one part of this that has nothing to do with how good you are at any of it. It's entirely a function of when the clock started, which means the version of you standing in that break room at 28 just bought yourself something none of your raises ever could have. 12 extra years of a machine running in the background before anyone needs anything from it. At 29, the total is $121,000. You finally move into your own place, not because the money demands it, because you're tired of finding new roommates off a group chat, and for the first time the math on staying doubled up doesn't feel worth the trade anymore. Here's what reaching this at 28 does not mean, in case any of this is starting to sound like a finish line. It doesn't mean you're set. $100,000 at 28 is a strong head start, not a retirement. You still have 30-some working years ahead of a career that could change, an income that could dip, a market that will absolutely have rough stretches you haven't lived through yet. It doesn't mean you're smarter than anyone who hasn't hit this number by your age. Most of what got you here was starting the automatic transfer at 23 and then getting mildly, boringly consistent about it for 5 years, not some insight nobody else has access to. It doesn't mean people treat you differently, because almost nobody knows. Your parents don't know the exact figure. Your roommate never knew. The person you're dating found out roughly the same way everyone eventually does. You finally just told them on a random Tuesday over dishes, and they were quiet for a second and then asked what your 2 funds were, which is somehow always the second question. Every time, no exceptions. A friend from hygienist school makes almost exactly what you make and leases a car that costs $640 a month. You don't think less of her for it. You just notice, quietly, that the $640 a month is the entire difference between where the two of you will probably be standing in 20 years. And neither of you set out to make that specific trade on purpose. What it actually means is smaller and more useful than a finish line. It means the next 4 decades of your life get to run with a machine already built and already running, instead of one you're still assembling in your 30s or 40s, while everything else in life is also asking for your attention at the same time. You still have the twin mattress, if you're wondering. You finally replaced it at 29, the same month you moved into your own place, not because you could suddenly afford a real one. You could have afforded one years ago, but because 11 years felt like a long enough time to sleep on a bed built for a 12-year-old. $100,412. You're 28. Most people you know won't see this number for another decade. You won't either, probably, if you're being honest. Not this exact number, not this exact age, not this exact life. The number on your screen at 38 or 48 will look nothing like this one, for reasons that have nothing to do with anything you did wrong. Markets move, careers move. Nothing about today is a guarantee of anything specific down the road. But the version of it that matters isn't the number on the screen today. It's the 37 years it now gets to keep growing before anyone ever has to touch it again. Years that showed up early enough in your life to feel, from the outside, like they cost you almost nothing to give away.